Okay, so bear with me now. This is the first time I'm actually making a video regarding my daughter. About 9 years ago, this past Sunday, she was shaken or picked up by a local church nursery volunteer in Honolulu, Hawaii. We attended church and I took her to the local volunteer nursery, that churches usually have for newborn babies and stuff, for childcare. Anyways, I brought my daughter down. I signed her in. The volunteers, took her back. I attended church service. By the time church service was done, I went to pick up my daughter, and I asked them, how was my daughter? And they're like, oh, she's fine, she's good. So I picked up my daughter, brought her home. My parents picked us up from church, put my daughter in her car seat, and she wasn't, really acting like her normal happy self. Instead, she just, kind of fussed. She was just really crying. We got home. I tried, doing everything a mom should do. I tried comforting her. I tried carrying her. I tried changing her diaper. I tried feeding her. Nothing worked. All she did was just continue to cry. So finally, I just, put her in her crib, because at the time, she was just a little over 9 weeks old, gestational age. She was born at 34 plus 6. She was a premature baby. And so, yeah, I let her, cry herself to sleep. I know that's usually not something that I would usually do, but at the time, I was just out of ideas and I was tired myself. I have seizures myself, so I had to, at the same time take care of my daughter, but in order to take care of my daughter, I have to take care of myself too, as well. Because if I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of my daughter, right? So anyway, it was around like 11:30, and I decided to check on my daughter one more time before I went to sleep. Well, I opened my daughter's door to her room. I flipped on the light switch. Guess what I found? I found my daughter. I found my daughter's sleeper all covered in vomit. Like, her entire back of her sleeper was just full of vomit. And so I called for my parents and I told them, Mom, Dad, something is wrong with Vicky. We need to get her to the emergency room now. And they're like, what happened? And I told them, come, look, Vicky, she's full of vomit. And I unzipped the front of her sleeper, and I showed them that there was like this really big bruise on the back of her neck, which wasn't there when I put her into her crib to go to sleep. And I told them, this is a pretty significant bruise, and I don't know how it got there. And so we took her to the emergency room at Kapiolani Medical Center, which is for pediatrics. And they asked me a bunch of questions, and I, answered honestly. And they did a full skeletal x-ray, and thank God nothing was broken. They also did a MRI, which thankfully nothing showed up on the MRI, but just because it doesn't show up on the MRI, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no damage to the newborn's brain. Because I also later learned that with even mild cases of shaken baby syndrome, which is what I later learned that my daughter has, some of those symptoms are fussiness, not wanting to eat, bruises, other symptoms that can also happen later in the child's life is learning issues, speech, language delayed, such as my daughter, needing things like occupational therapy, physical therapy, all of which my daughter also needs, which is also in coordination with another issue my daughter has, which is something entirely separate called PCDH19 epilepsy. It's unfortunately passed down from mostly the females. So if the mom has PCDH19, like myself, and presumably, such as my mom probably has it, then my daughter will probably, well, she does have it. And if she has children of her own someday, and she has a daughter, my granddaughter will probably have it. So it's a genetic thing, unfortunately, which was passed into the family from a great grandmother of mine on my mother's side of the family. Anyway, but yeah, this is a shaken baby syndrome shirt that I am about to open, and this is what it looks like. Just a minute. Okay, so this is what I bought in support of my daughter. And as you can see, my daughter's name is right right here on the H, under the right here under Piper, Vicky. Do you see that? That is my daughter. And usually on the day that my daughter was shaken, usually we celebrate with usually like a cake or something, you know, just to celebrate that I am a survivor. That this is, you know, my victory. Anyway, also on that same night, it also happened to be a Wednesday, which happened to be a day before Thanksgiving in 2014. And we stayed overnight for observation. And also her left arm, it was limp for like 8 hours. And that is something else that is another symptom of shaken baby syndrome. A lot of babies with shaken baby syndrome who do survive, they have a lot more issues that my daughter doesn't have. So I'm very thankful, and I'm very, very blessed that she doesn't have as many issues as the other 20%. And majority of these babies who are shaken, a lot of them do not survive. And this is why I am making this video. Do not shake babies, never. No matter how upset or frustrated you are as a mom, a dad, stepmom, stepfathers, don't shake a baby, because it's not worth it. Because a lot of these babies, they're going to suffer for the rest of their lives. And do we really want more children to suffer at the hands of their parents or their step-parents or their caregivers who are supposed to be caring for them? No, we do not. So please, don't shake a baby.